Hey, Price Chapel family. It's good to connect with you in this way midweek. I want to share midweek encouragement with you. I know that right now life seems unfair, and I'm hearing stories of unfairness, and it's kind of like my kids when they yell out, well, that's not fair. He got candy and I didn't get candy. That's not fair. And there's a lot of things we're crying out about that aren't fair right now. We've had so many things canceled and postponed, and things we can't do, and things other people can do but we can't do. And then there's those of you that at work, some of you, your employers have said, oh, just stay at home and we're still going to pay you, but you can't come to the office. But you can come to the office and you're going to still work a few hours a day, and we're going to pay everyone the same, but you have to work. And that doesn't seem very unfair, that some co-workers would get to stay at home and they would get paid the same as you, and you work because you're essential or you have skills that they don't have to be able to work from home or something. There's a lot of unfairness right now, and I think we can get fixated on what doesn't seem fair. The government's helping some, not helping others. Some people are going to get bailed out. Some companies are going to be helped and others aren't. It's a lot of unfairness. And it all reminds me of a parable, a story that Jesus told in Matthew chapter 19, a parable about the workers in the vineyard. And the story goes like this, is there's a man, he's got a vineyard, and at the beginning of the day, he hires workers to come and work on his vineyard and pick the grapes. And he negotiates and tells them, I'll pay you a day's wage, I'll pay you a denarius to come and work. And he starts to work for the day with that group, and then a couple hours later thinks, I could use some more workers. So he goes to the town square and hires some more workers, and then at noon he goes halfway through the day and hires more workers, says, hey, come work for me. And then 1 hour before closing time, he goes and he still sees some guys that are out there and they're not working, and says, hey, come work for me. And so the end of the day comes, and they would pay the wages at the end of every day then. You didn't have like an automatic deposit in your bank account every 2 weeks. At the end of the day, the worker got paid their wages. And so he gathers all the workers together, and he begins to start paying them. From the ones he hired last, he pays them first. And the ones he hired first, he pays them last. And he goes to the ones that he hired last, and he gives them a full day's pay. And the people who were hired first, who worked the full day, who actually worked the full day, think, this is awesome. This guy's going to give us like 8 days pay because we worked 8 times the amount of these other guys. But he goes down the line and he pays everyone the same amount. And the workers who worked the full day are upset. This isn't fair. We're not being treated fairly. And the owner of the vineyard speaks to them, and he says to them this. He says, didn't you agree to work for a denarius? Take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do with my own money what I want? Or are you envious because I am generous? And then Jesus says, so the first will be last and the last will be first. And he says, this is what the kingdom of God is like. The kingdom of God is like this generous owner of a vineyard. The first will be last, the last will be first, and the master of it all is known by his generosity. What this reveals to us about God is that God is not fair. God is generous. And I don't want a God who's fair. I want a God who's generous with us, who is generous with his love and generous with his grace and generous with forgiveness and generous in providing for us. That's the type of God we have in this moment. Let's not get fixated on everything being fair. Let's embrace the generosity of our Father. And in this season, what will mark us as followers of Jesus, what will mark us as people who are part of his kingdom, is generosity. We will be known as the followers of Jesus. We will be known to be like our Father if we are generous. If we are not the ones complaining about life being unfair, but we are the ones who are extending generosity in any ways we can. Some of us are going to get checks in the coming weeks from the government. Some of us are really going to need those checks to survive. Some of us, that's just going to be like extra money and it's going to be an opportunity to be generous. Life isn't fair, and that's okay, because we serve a God who's not fair. He's generous, and he's a good father, a good master who is generous to his children. And so may you walk in the generosity of Jesus this week. May that you know that you're not alone, that we love you and we're caring for you and we're with you in all of this. I hope you can join us Sunday for our live stream at 10:30 on Facebook Live. It'll also be up on YouTube later. We'd love for you to interact on the live stream, comment, interact, pretend like we're there in person. We can talk to each other and give virtual hugs. We're family together. Let's be a family marked by generosity. God bless you.